questions, please use the raised hand feature in order to be called upon. Coach Stoops.
Sure. Thanks, Tony. Sorry to keep you all waiting a little bit. Been a little busy around here this afternoon, but we're excited and honored to accept that invitation to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. We had a really good experience the last time we were there, with the exception of the outcome of the game. We hope to play better this go around. We've played good the past 2 bowl games, so hopefully we can keep that streak going. But looking forward to playing a really good NC State team. I know Dave Dorn very well for a long time. He does a very good job and has his team playing really well down the stretch. I believe they won their last 4 and they're 8-3. So very good football team, and excited about the opportunity and getting back to Florida for another bowl game. Hopefully we'll have some good weather, and I'm sure our players will be excited about that.
All right, first question is coming from Josh Moore.
Hey, Mark. Congrats, and I guess just starting, do you know who's available and kind of how that situation is going to play out, or are there still guys that are kind of debating, or is everybody going to be able to go player-wise?
Oh, no, yeah, we're good. We've been practicing. We've just had a team function here today. We took the whole team for an outing to play some games and eat some pizza and wings and have some fun at Malibu Jack's for a couple hours. But we've had 2 good practices past 2 days. We're at 100%. So the guys are all back and out there practicing and working hard and having some fun.
I guess I should have been more clear. I guess, is anybody opting out? I guess, can we take it that no one's opting out of the game? Or?
Well, I just said, Josh, we're at 100%, so that means that nobody opted out, right? I didn't say 99. I mean, I guess from the last game till now, where everybody's here as far as I know. So, yeah, we've had some good practices. Yeah.
All right, next is Michael Bennett. Michael.
Mark, congrats as well. With Liam Cohen still out with the LA Rams, who's going to be doing the offensive play calling?
Yeah, I'm going to lean on the guys that we have. Coach Bo, Coach Morrow. Coach Morrow he's kind of handling the offense right now. We'll activate some of our analysts. We're able to do that. Mark Perry, has all the qualifications. He does a great job. And so Mark will be coaching the quarterbacks and handling that and helping with game planning. Same Josh Esteswall will be activated and be on the field coaching. He's been with us for a while and does quite a bit of our analytics and our self-scout and all those things. So those guys will get activated, and my man, Coach Morrow, will be out there at the head of the controllers, but I'm going to have to be in that room a little more than I normally am. So I'll be in there helping.
John Hale.
Hey, Mark, is Coach Wolford with the team now and helping coach already? And also just kind of what's the update on the running back coaching position, your time frame on maybe a hire there?
Yeah, Coach Wolford is not here. I did not feel that was right to bring him in at this point and have our offensive line experience 3 different offensive line coaches in 1 year. That wasn't the right thing to do. And so, I just want a fresh start after the new year. With the new staff and with the running back position, I feel good, very good about where it's headed, and no hurry on that.
Larry Hawk.
Yeah, Mark, I had 2 things. One, I wanted to ask you about how the bowl process worked this year, how much different it was as far as when you actually found out and knew where you were going. But I've got to ask you now, I'm assuming for the first time since you've been here, there won't be any questions after the bowl game about getting the ball to the tight end and Vince is going to be calling plays?
Yeah, that's for sure. If you would have seen our 2 practices, the first 2 bowl practices, you'd think it was just a 7-on-7 with the tight ends and the quarterbacks. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's definitely working on getting his tight ends the football. That's for sure. What was the other part of that question there?
Just about how much different. I mean, I know some years in the past you would know several days in advance where you were going. How did that work this year?
Yeah, I learned last year just to hold tight until it's official, and so I didn't even, get ahead of myself at all. I just kind of sat back and the first part of our practices when our players came back, we just worked on ourselves. We just worked on getting better fundamentally, getting out there, having some fun, running around, playing fast, and they did that. I gave them today off. We're game planning right now for NC State, and we'll have 2 good practices the next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, and I'll cut them loose, and I'll bring them back on the 27th.
Keith Farmer?
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking a chance here because I know you don't like talking about yourself, but it has to mean something. I mean, all the years of coaches and football that's been going on here to go to 5 bowl games, 5 straight bowl games. What does that mean to you?
I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the, past and current coaches and past and current players. They've invested a lot in this program. I do feel like we've come a long way. We have a ways to go still. We embrace that challenge and appreciate it, but always kind of just trying to stay in the moment. And I'm excited. I think it's time. Obviously, I hated making those changes because you want to be successful in my close personal relationship. But I just think for the program, not anything against past coaches or any individual, but I think for myself and, with this opportunity to kind of hit the reboot, it's exciting for me to move the program. Hopefully, I've been here 8 years, going on 9, and hopefully it'll be another 8 or 9. So I think it's an exciting time and really, again, just like Mitch said in an earlier press conference, really focused on the future, not so much looking back on the past. But, I think you always do have to keep things in perspective and be grateful for where you're at and where we came from and, again, where we're headed.
Nick Roush?
Mark, you did start this journey in Jacksonville. Just what's it like to kind of have guys on the team who remember that game and have something really to play for in their final game to kind of get a little bit of vengeance there?
Yeah, Landon and I were talking about that at our team function, with those guys. Must have been Landon's class then. Obviously, he and I were talking about it, but starting it there and ending it there for him. But again, hopefully we'll play better. You always remember the outcome in those games. So, we want it to be a real positive experience for our players. But every time we compete, we want to do things right and look right and play good. So, there'll be a balance there with, our players enjoying themselves and being rewarded, but also being prepared to play the game.
You kind of alluded to it, but are you going to have to do kind of more fun things at home now that you can't do that for an extended amount of time down there?
Well, you do. We're here for a short amount of time as well. I wanted to get them out of here after the season. They deserve that break. They have not seen their families for a long time. I do appreciate our players when they came back because they had the smile on their faces again. I think it was really good for them mentally and physically to get some time off. They needed that. And then they came back and we're very excited to be back. And, it was good to see them running around the practice field, playing extremely fast and enjoying themselves and having fun. So, we're trying to, just like a day like today, but it's all going to be, fairly compressed as well.
Josh Moore?
Mark, you guys opened as a 3-point favorite against a team that's ranked top 25 and, on a 4-game win streak. I mean, just what's that say about how you guys are perceived and the strength that, maybe others see in your team that maybe, doesn't reflect in the record necessarily?
Well, I don't know. I don't generally ever talk about things of that nature. I don't really want to talk specifically about a point spread, but I will say, talking specifically about our team, I think most people recognize, the challenge of a all SEC schedule. Again, it's reflective in what people think, the expert thinks and whatever, and we'll say those guys are generally pretty sharp. They don't build those big buildings for no reason. So, But I think, also I mentioned it. I mean, there's only, I think it's 6 teams in our league with a better record than us. And so, I mean, over half our league is in the same spot we're in. And again, we all kind of, you saw it all the way up until the last week. I mean, it's just challenging. And that's why you see some different scores and you see everybody beating up on each other. And, so it is what it is. And we're looking forward to this next opportunity. I know Dave Dorn. I know he's a really good coach and good friend of mine, and his team's playing really well.
John Hale.
Mark, what's your relationship with Tim Beck like, and what about his offense is dangerous to defend?
Yeah, Tim and I are really good friends. I haven't talked to him in a while, to be honest with you. But Tim and I go back to our high school days. I mean, we went to, just like, Vince and I and Coach Bufano and Courtney, we're all Youngstown Cardinal Mooney products. And, Tim is a competitor. He's a very good coach. I remember back in the days, I was a little older than him, but, back when he was a head high school coach in the state of Texas and the job that he did, he's been around and he's very experienced and very good coach. They're very good this year. Just what I saw briefly watching them, he does a really good job. They're a tempo team. They're playing very fast. They use a lot of zone schemes, just like our offense. We perhaps use more gap schemes. They run probably 4 or 5 gap schemes a game. We probably a little more than that. But then he'll play action you and he'll max it up when he feels like he's getting pressure and run 3-man routes and getting the ball down the field. And Tim does a very good job. He's a very good coach.
Mark Story.
Mark, did you play against NC State in the 1988 Peach Bowl?
Mark, can you speak up? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Mark, did you play against North Carolina State in the Peach Bowl?
I don't know, Mark. You tell me. I mean, shoot. I think I'm not as bad as Coach Morrow, but I've definitely been hitting the head a lot of times as well. So it's hard for me to go back that far.
I think Iowa lost to NC State 28-23 in the 88 Peach Bowl, according to the records.
You tell me, man. I had a hard enough time this year. I'm pretty low.
All right. Next question is Jeff Drummond. Jeff, go ahead, please.
Hey, Mark, you kind of touched on it earlier about having a hunch it might be NC State and getting that little bit of a head start with them. You just talked about their offense a little bit. What shows up on the defensive tape? Yeah,
defensive tape, they're a 3-3-5 team. So those teams can bring pressure a lot of different ways. So they'll try to penetrate and bring they could bring 4. They could stay with 3. They could bring 4, bring 5, bring 6. So, a lot of different movements up front. And Tony Gibson's their defense coordinator. Has been an experienced guy, been around a while. And, he does a really good job. And Dave's background is in defense as well. So definitely presents problems.
John Long.
Hey, Mark, also congratulations. Normally these bowl games are as much a reward for the fans as they are for the players and the team. What do you want to tell somebody who's maybe thinking about going down there? I mean, it's been a tough year for the fans, but I think by and large they've stuck with you through thick and thin. What would you like to tell somebody who's maybe on the fence thinking about coming down and seeing you?
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't, it's everybody's decision whether to go or not go right now, and with traveling and with COVID and all those things. So that's really to each individual. But I know, it's nice for myself and certainly these young men, their families, and for the fans who want to go. This is the last time these guys are going to strap it up for the blue and white, and we greatly appreciate it. And these seniors have done an awful lot. And, for maybe some of the juniors, it's their last game, or some of the seniors that they're done. We can't thank them enough. I tell you, there's some quality young men here. And you look at the bowl games and you look at the part of the program in the 4 or 5 years that they've been a part of this program, they've done an awful lot of good things, and they've sacrificed a lot, and they certainly sacrificed a great deal this year. And so, it's really hard to describe. Mentally and physically how challenging it was on the players. They've sacrificed a lot. They've done a lot, and we greatly appreciate it.
Figure out.
Liam Cohen's Rams just lost to the Jets. Any buyer's remorse?
No, not at all.
I'm all out of serious questions, Mark.
Thanks, Nick. I did see right before I came in here, in between the two press conferences, that they were down but driving. So obviously they didn't get that in, huh?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thanks.
John Hale.
Mark, you mentioned juniors, plural, who might have be their last game. We talk about Darian, obviously, a lot in the draft conversation, but do you have other juniors who have submitted their names or whatever to get feedback from the draft?
Well, we have. I'm allowed 5, and I've submitted 5. I anticipate, everybody coming back. Darian has not made up his mind yet, and we're still gathering information for him. But I just use that word. Don't read too much into that, John.
Larry Hawk.
Mark, when you said you're going to have 100% of your guys, that kind of continues the trend that you've not had guys opt out from a bowl game, and especially this year, I would have thought maybe some might for the reasons you said. That must make you feel pretty proud. And what's the secret to having guys want to go ahead and stay with you and go through this till the end?
Yeah, thanks. I think it does say a lot about the players. I think at first it says, it speaks to them individually and collectively that we have the right players here for us, for the University of Kentucky. And I think they, I think they answer to each other. You've heard me talk about it many times that I want to be player-led team. I want them leading the right way. And again, we know that maybe we came up short in certain areas this year, but we also really proud of the good things that they've done for many years. And we have strong leadership and strong players at the top. And I think that's what it's speaking to, is their commitment to each other. And so it does make me proud, because it's very easy. And I know you watch it right now and you see what these young men have been through, and you see the challenge of this season. Very easy to punt, very easy to give in. And I just think it talks a lot about them and the character that they have and the responsibility that they feel for each other.
Next is John Clay.
Mark, Coach was talking to bowl games about the importance of getting those extra practices before a bowl game. Is that even more important this year when you didn't have as many practices as normal? You didn't have a full spring practice. You didn't have the summer program and so forth. To get those extra practices, is that even more helpful this year?
I don't believe so, John, this year, quite honestly, because even though the season was shorter, remember, we had that long practice time in the summer. And so we feel like we've had a lot of practices. I will agree, I guess, contradicting myself in one area, that there are some freshmen and some young guys that, yes, it's always important to give them snaps and give them reps. And so even with our first couple practices this bowl season, you're seeing them. And I always make sure we get all the young guys going. And so, yes, in certain ways, but I guess no, in that we won't have as many practices. The season went longer. They got to go home for a little bit. It's a bit condensed this year, so we wouldn't have as many. Early on, when I was, really trying to build this program, and I admitted it probably, hurt us in the outcome of the first couple bowl games. But I felt like it was the right thing to do to build the program, was to really grind on them and push them during that first couple bowls that we went to, because we needed it. We just needed to get better for the long run. I don't quite feel that way this year. So I think there's a balance. You're always trying to improve, but I think they've been through a lot, and I just want them to have a positive experience.
And our final question for Coach Stoops will be from Josh Moore.
Mark, what was the communication like with the SEC leading up to this game? I assume that probably Mitch was a lot of that, and just with the league, it seemed like they were pretty good about filling all the bowls too. With it seemed like and everybody playing. I mean, and that's not something every conference can say.
Well, I think the communication, there was really none. I mean, I go through Mitch or Mark Hill, our deputy AD and liaison to football, but I stay out of it. I mean, again, I just wait until they tell me who we're playing. We had enough work to do just getting back into it, just to work on ourselves. I like when they get back playing fastball, which means good against good. We don't have to worry about scheming anybody. Just play the game, play fast, get them moving around with football movements again. And I liked what I saw. I felt like the guys were refreshed. I felt like they were faster. I felt like we were throwing the ball better, catching it, and just moving around better. So we had enough to do with just worrying about ourselves. We have time now to zero in on NC State and to get game plan ready for them. So that's it. And then what was the other part of that?
About the league, just being able to fill all its bowls.
Yeah, I think it's what our league is. We're not. You better man up in this league, and that's just the truth. There's nobody running, nobody hiding. You have to be competitive, and everybody in your organization better be competitive because it's tough. And I think it just doesn't surprise me because what we've been through and what other schools in this league have been through, and the schedule definitely is very taxing. And to see us have so many teams willing to go to bowl games just says a lot about this conference.
Okay, Coach Stoops, thank you for your time this evening, and we will sign off. And I think Luke Fortner has signed on. And we will
You guys got Luke? I'm sorry you got to do that.
We'll give a quick momentarily, and then we'll have Josh back.
Okay, guys, if